Welcome to the GBU. Alright boys, welcome back to week 3's Team Builder. Week 2 we faced Keegan, and spoiler alert, we won the battle. We are now 2-0 on the season with what I think is one of the most comfortable teams I've ever had to build with. Week 3, today we played JV, who is a fantastic player. You can check him out in the top right hand corner, and ironically enough, we ranked him 14th in power rankings, which is just solely based on his team, not him as a player. He's a fantastic battler. Unfortunately, against the 14th best team, in my opinion, we have a horrible matchup. There are a few Pokemon that we have no counterplay to, but we're going to try our best. He is one of the best Terra captains in Terra Lucario, but before that, I do want to go ahead and say two things. First of all, only 50% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. We're almost to 2,050 at the time of me recording this, which means we're almost to 2,100, which means our growth is exponential. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already, and at least double check. On top of that, this is the last week that we will have Sinastra and Weezing. You know what, let's go ahead and throw our team up on the screen and give a good farewell to Weezing and Sinastra. Weezing was fantastic for us in week 2, and I am an avid Weezing fan. I do think we underpriced him by a couple points here in the GBU, but unfortunately, a Pokemon that I've been itching to try is on the board. So we are picking up Galarian Slowbro going into week 3, and we are also dropping Sinastra, and we're picking up Bramblegast. It gives us spikes, it gives us another remover, and it gives us a really good poison type and a really good fairy counter that we didn't necessarily have with Weezing. Don't get me wrong, I love Weezing. I think Sinastra is cool in prep. I think there were actually a couple of matchups that we definitely would have brought it this season, but I think Glowbro is a little bit better than Weezing, and Bramblegast adds another layer to our team that just overall makes our team better. JV's team is Dragapult, Pheasantipity, Zarude, Sandy Shocks, Milotic, Terra Normal, and Fighting Lucario, Moltres, Oshawfishi Rapid, Ursaring, and Cresselia. So there are two things you will notice right away. His two fighting types do us dirty. We do not have a lot of counterplay to his fighting types. One fighting type completely beats our fairy type, and the other fighting type is a water type, and our water type is Rotom Wash, and that's not good. Terra Normal, I think, is pretty obvious on Lucario. I do think that this is one of the few Pokemon that can run setup into us because it beats Clefable, which otherwise stops a lot of his setup sweepers, Zarude, Dragapult, Urshifu Rapid. Lucario doesn't care about that, so I do think some form of even potentially mixed Swords Dance set will come with Swords Dance, E-Speed, maybe Flash Cannon, maybe Bullet Punch, and then last move probably just Close Combat. Or he could opt to be fully special with like Vacuum Wave Terra Fighting. He has a couple of different options, and Lucario is very difficult for our team to deal with overall. Urshifu Rapid is the Pokemon that I think has the best matchup in this matchup. Ironically enough, I really dislike Urshifu Rapid. I think it's extremely overhyped, but I'm about to get proven wrong because Urshifu Rapid is gonna do us a little bit dirty when we have Bulky Water, Rotom Wash, and we have Grass type Sinastra. We have ways to kind of take hits from it, but overall, Urshifu Rapid is gonna have a very fun time into us. Other than that, I think we have a really good Dragapult matchup, Clefable plus Snorlax and Weavile and Iron Jugulus. Realistically, if there's ever a matchup to not bring Dragapult, which are far and few between, it's probably this one, but he does probably bring some sort of maybe a banded U-turn pivot. I think would make sense if any set, but honestly, he gets stuffed pretty hard by a lot of our threats, so if he doesn't bring it, that is no surprise to me. Pheasantipity is a Pokemon that with the specific team that we are bringing, it has a good matchup, but into our team overall, it has a poor matchup. Just Heatran alone kind of invalidates its existence when we know that he could be Technician Double Kick, and Weezing it can't really push past, and we have ways to break it with things like Weavile and Great Tusk. Overall, it's not a very good matchup. I could totally see him bringing it as a special wall solely for the Iron Jugulus, but there's better options in my opinion. Zarude is a Pokemon that I do expect to come and has very good coverage into us, whether he just be 4-attack banded or whether he try to be a Swords Dance Trailblaze set, which could definitely work in this matchup. It just gets revenged by Weavile and booster speed Terra Jugulus. I think Zarude makes a lot of sense. Sandy Shocks makes a lot of sense as well. Spikes are very good into my team, and so are Rocks, so I think he probably values that. Maybe a booster speed set, I'm not really entirely sure. And it's also a Pokemon that can 2-hit KO most variants of Great Tusk if we're not like fully split def or if we're not Assault Vest, so Sandy Shocks makes sense. Milotic Wall is a couple of different Pokemon, but it does let things like Rotom in for free, but it does have Flip Turn this generation, so I do think some bulky Recover, Flip Turn, Scald, Filler move Milotic is going to come in this matchup. Moltres, I don't really see coming, maybe if he doesn't think we'll have any rock coverage on our Great Tusk. Ursaring shouldn't ever come, and Cresselia shouldn't ever come. So realistically, the 6 I expect are Dragapult, Zarude, Sandy Shocks, Milotic, Lucario, and Urshifu Rapid. However, I could see Pheasantipity and even Moltres thrown in the mix. As for the team that we are bringing, I do want to go ahead and say this was a tough matchup for us. I don't think that we have a bad matchup minus the Urshifu and the Lucario, but it's more so we have a really tough time bringing 6 Pokemon that deal with the 6 that I think he could bring very well. It's like we always want another Pokemon, and every single Pokemon on our team was considered for this matchup. I thought of a Quiver, Taunt, or a Choreo Ghost. I really considered a Fizdef Weezing with Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split, and there were some others. I don't want to go ahead and give away the exact 6 that we're bringing, but the first Pokemon is going to be Clefable. We're unaware with leftovers, unaware to prevent any type of Swords Dance Zarude, Dragon Dance Dragapult, Swords Dance on his Urshifu Rapid. Magic Guard was definitely an option, but I think unaware gives us a little bit more usability in this matchup. I like Moonlight over Wish because we are not really a bulkier team. We're more of an offensive build this week, so I like Moonlight just for our self-recovery. Thunder Wave for the very obvious Pheasantipity, or a Moltres switch in if they do decide to go that route. Moonblast because good general stab and knockoff to knock off the boots of Moltres, or the recovery in the Black Sludge of Pheasantipity, or it could be like boots or something like that on that Pokemon as well. We're 216 HP, 200 defense, 4 special attack, and 88 special defense, and this Pokemon is here to be our Dragapult check. We are not bringing Snorlax because I think Clefable does overall better in the matchup and a better job at checking this specific Dragapult that does not have Steel Wing this generation. With that in mind, we can live 2 Specs hits from a modest Dragapult after Rocks because he is almost inevitably going to be modest in this matchup because he probably shouldn't respect Weavile since we Ice Shard anyway. We can live a Surging Strike from the Adamant Banded Urshifu. We have 4 special attack to Oko the Urshifu from 88%, and then we just threw an extra 124 in defense because we didn't need it anywhere else. Clefable's a really good defensive piece in this matchup. I do really want to use it early to spread Thunder Waves. If he does bring Cresselia for whatever reason, getting a Thunder Wave on that could be nice. Getting a Thunder Wave on the Milotic that may want to switch in, a Thunder Wave on the Moltres, on the Pheasantipity, on the Zarude. I don't know why Zarudes would switch in, but spreading Thunder Waves and spreading knockoffs is very good in this matchup, and Moonlight to keep us healthy is very, very nice. We are going to be bringing Sinastra, Teabag, whose name got censored because you can't put bag in a Pokemon name for some reason, or maybe it's just Teabag, I don't know. We're and we're bringing a Scarf set this week. I really like Scarf in this matchup because of a lot of different things. Number 1, Dragapult, we can guarantee outspeed a modest or adamant Dragapult. Number 2, it catches Lucario off guard because if he is Terra Normal or Terra Fighting, neither of which resist Grass, we're actually able to outspeed an Oko, and he can't kill us with a +2 Bullet Punch, and he certainly can't hit us with a +2 Terra Normal E-Speed, so I like maintaining this ghost type Scarfer. This also gives us some leeway against the Urshifu Rapid, which I really don't think should be Scarf in this matchup, and if it's not, we're able to outspeed and pressure a lot of damage on that, and it also gives us a way to break the Milotic. In one way or another, Sinastra was going to come in this matchup, and I actually waited to drop Sinastra and Weezing to specifically bring a Scarf Sinastra in this matchup because I liked it so much. We're Memento, Leaf Storm, Matcha Gotcha, and Shadow Ball. We are Memento to potentially set up late game if we don't need this Pokemon anymore. Lucario goes down, Urshifu goes down, whatever the case may be. Memento to get us into a couple of different setup options that we have could potentially win us the game. We are Leaf Storm because this pressures an Oko on the Lucario if he is Terra. If he does not yet know we're Scarf, he's probably going to stay in, he's probably going to try to attack us, and that surprise factor of hitting him with Leaf Storm and knocking him clean out is going to be so satisfactory, and we don't have another move to do that to my knowledge. Matcha Gotcha is broken. Getting burns on something like the Urshifu or pretty much anything that wants to switch in other than like the Pheasantipity is going to be very, very nice. The Zarude might want to switch in, but it has to really think about it because if it gets burned, that Zarude could be rendered useless unless he's a jungle healing set, obviously. And then Shadow Ball for general stab or to catch the Dragapult off guard. We're 24 HP, 32 defense, 196 special attack, 28 special defense, and 228 speed timid. This allows us to outspeed a modest or adamant Dragapult. We can live 2 +2 bullet punches from a Lucario if he is not Life Orb from 88% or after Rocks. And we can live a Life Orb Dark Pulse from the Lucario if we do want to just go ahead and hard pivot this Pokemon in on that Lucario. And then we put the rest into special attack, so we do still have some offensive capabilities with this Pokemon. And like I said, I like this in this matchup a lot, and I really did not drop it because of how much I like it in this specific matchup. I think there's so many options for us to catch certain Pokemon off guard. Sandy Shocks, Urshifu, specifically Lucario and Dragapult are what we are aiming for though. Next up, we are going to be bringing our kill leader, Weavile. And this time, we're just going to be a pretty standard set with Choice Band. We're Shard for priority because of Dragapult and Zarude. We're Crash because we don't want to be Ice Spinner because Ice Spinner makes contact and he has Flame Body Moltres. We could have been Icicle Spear, but because we're Banded, I like the immediate guaranteed 85 damage rather than a chance for 50, 75 damage. Knockoff is a broken move on a broken Pokemon, and then Trailblaze because it lets us lock into a move to hit Urshifu and also potentially hit the Milotic if that item is knocked off on it. We're 8 HP, 236 attack adamant, 48 defense, and 216 speed. This allows us to outspeed the Zarude. We can live a play rough from the Pheasantipity, and then we put the rest into attack adamant. This Pokemon does some serious damage in this matchup. Non-Scarfers will not outspeed us, and we're able to put on a lot of pressure. The only downside of this Pokemon is the fact that we are going to have to potentially give the Lucario a justified boost if we do lock into knockoff, but because we have Sinastcha, I'm a little bit less worried about that than I should be. Spreading knockoffs is so free into this team, and honestly, an in-game where Weavile wins if Lucario is gone is very realistic. Next up, our win con and the team captain Iron Jugulis. We are going to be another booster speed workup set because his flying resists are very far and few between, and the Pokemon that do like to take flying hits are going to be weak to Earth Power, and because of that, we are once again going to be Workup, Hurricane, and Terra Blast, but in our last slot, we're now going to be Earth Power to hit Andy Shocks and to hit the Pheasantipity. We're 32 HP, 4 defense, 240 special attack, and 232 speed timid. Really simple set. We can guarantee outspeed the Zarude. We have the maximum amount of special attack that we can to still get the speed boost. Then we put the rest into HP, rock friendly number of HP. Really simple. This can definitely get into a position to win the game. This also gives us a fail-safe against the Dragapult, against a Scarf Urshifu, and against a +1 Zarude, which in my opinion is all very important. I almost went with Scarf, but I really like the booster win con potential in this Pokemon. Scarf would have made a lot of sense. It would have done pretty much the same thing, but we're going to keep this Pokemon in the back and play it as the win con because I'm very confident that we can get Jay's team into a position to where this Pokemon can win the game. And we're Terra Flying, obviously. Next up, we have our rocker. It is going to be Great Tusk this week. We're going to be a bulky set with leftovers, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Headlong Rush, and Knockoff. I almost put on a fighting move because I do like some way to potentially hit the Zarude, but other than that, we hit pretty much everything with the combination of Knockoff and Headlong Rush, and I like being able to knock off potential Flame Orb on Milotic or potential boots on Moltres, two things that want to switch into us. I think it's very important that we have Knockoff for that, and I think we needed our other 3 moves. This may be our lead depending on the 6 Pokemon that he brings, because I don't realistically see him bringing Milotic, and if he leads Andy Shocks, we spin turn 1 to break a potential balloon, and then we Headlong Rush the following turn, and we should be good. If we don't see that, then we might just Headlong Rush. I'm not entirely sure. Rocks are super good in this matchup. He has no removal, and it punishes a lot of switches that I think are going to happen really early on, especially because we have knockoff pressure into something like the Moltres, where we can knock off the thing's boots if it switches in on Clefable or Great Tusk. We're 216 HP, 92 attack adamant, 24 defense, 64 special defense, and 112 speed. We can live any 2 hits from a non-Terra fighting Lucario. We can outspeed a 12 speed Pheasantipity. We can OHKO a Lucario from 90% or after Life Orb. We can live 2 non-specs modest Shadow Balls from the Dragapult, and we can live a Pheasantipity +2 play rough. Great Tusk is super good, and I really wish that I could afford to bring it offensive, but because I think this team is so offensive already, I really wanted some sort of a defensive backbone, and I thought, what better Pokemon than Great Tusk? And then lastly, I debated so long on my last Pokemon, and it wasn't even over Rotom Wash. I'll be completely transparent. It was going to be over Sinastcha if I brought the last Pokemon, which was going to be Heatran. Debated on it for a long time. We're not bringing it, so we are very weak to Pheasantipity. If he does bring it, that's obviously not going to be great for us. Our last mod is going to be Rotom Wash. This is our only reliable check to him being a potential banded Urshifu, but even then, it's not really a great check because he can just lock close combat. I will say though, I do think Choice Banded is a little tough in this matchup. I think it's really hard to lock a move. So we're going to be Rest, Sleep Talk, Discharge, and Hydro Pump. Pretty standard set with the Rocky Helmet. We're 184 HP, 224 defense bold, 12 special attack, and 88 special defense. We can live 2 Banded Adamant Surging Strikes after Rocks, 2 Sandy Shocks Thunderbolts, and then we put the rest into special attack. Like I said, this Pokemon's just kind of to punish the Urshifu a little bit, because if we don't bring Rotom Wash, you take Rotom Wash off the squad that we have, it just kind of comes in and clicks whatever it wants, because we obviously don't want to switch Sinastcha in if we don't have to. If we know that he's not locked in to close combat, we don't want to switch Sinastcha in, because Sinastcha is very, very important to the entire game plan. So Rotom's here. I wanted Heatran, man. I really did, but we have we have what we have. And that is going to be the team, guys. I'm confident that we have a good team. I'm not so confident in the matchup overall. I think Lucario plus Urshifu alone, those two Pokemon are hard for us to deal with. And if he does bring Pheasantipity, we didn't bring the best things to break through it, but we should be able to throw off a Para with Clefable and then eventually beat it down with the Pokemon that we have. And I think that we can set up an in-game for Terra Jugu. The only stipulation to that would be him keeping Terra Normal Lucario in the back. But if he keeps it in the back, then I think we have a really good time dealing with the rest of his team. So it'll be very interesting to see how Jay plays his team, what 6 that he ends up bringing, if I get it right or not. Let me know what you guys think of this team down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow with the match. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.